Today on Extreme Travels, we're going to look at my recent trip with my family of 5 to the Caribbean, or Caribbean, however you want to say it. Either way, we took the Celebrity Reflection cruise boat. Second time on the boat, but we're going to tell you everything about the boat itself. We're going to talk about the ports. We're going to talk about the food, of course, and the different things to do. Of course, not everything, because you can do some stuff in your bedroom or the balcony that we shouldn't talk about. Hey, my name is Mr. X. Welcome to the Xtreme channel. We are giving away $1,000 statues to you guys. If you want to know how to win one, stay tuned for later in the video. So we're going to kick it off talking about the ship itself, the Celebrity Reflection. Now, if you've seen some of my previous cruise videos, you know we love to go on Celebrity. It's a little bit of an older crowd, not as crazy. The ships are a little bit smaller. This boat is actually about 11 years old, and we were on it 7 years ago. So this is our second time. It has been refurbished. Now, with the Celebrity Reflection, holds about 3,000 passengers and then 1,250 guests. Now, one thing about Celebrity, a lot of people, it costs a little bit more. It's kind of the higher end of the Royal Caribbean line. But we definitely think it's worth it. We think that the food is elevated. We'll talk a little bit about that today. But there's a lot of cool stuff to do on the boat. It's not one of those boats that has water slides and rock climbing and wave pools and all of that, which we're okay with despite the fact that we have 3 teenage kids. We do plan to go on one of those ships here in a few months. We usually do about 3 or 4 of these ships per year. Now I'm going to start jumping around on the ship of things to do, whether you're a child or a teenager or an adult. But typically there aren't that many children on these ships. There was for us because it was during Thanksgiving week of 2023. But they have a lot of different things you can do. So they have a place called the Hideway that has some weird ass chairs that for some reason my kids were obsessed with. Anytime they disappear, they were here in the Hideway. Throughout the entire ship, there's about 8 or 9 different bars you can go to. Here's a martini bar. You can see me always drinking. I do typically get the drink package, and I'm going to come back to that in a minute or so. But the rest of this is just random shots of the ship because we had over 400 photos to go through. There's a show you can go to every night, whether it's a comedian or singers and dancers. You can sit on the balcony. You're going to see a video tour of our sunset room. You can actually see pictures right here. There's my oldest, absolutely zonked out. Apparently he had too much to drink as well. This is from our balcony, and you're going to see a room tour of our actual balcony. So I'll talk about it a little bit more in person. But it's actually at the back of the ship, which I think is pretty cool. It's something we've never done before, and it gave us those fantastic sunset views, or just a very peaceful, calming look to the ocean. One of our favorite things to do is just get out on the ocean, take a look at it, and just melt away, if you will. But usually we have a drink in hand when we do that. Now right here, you can see another view. This is actually from the helipad. Because we are elite members, we got invited to the helipad. You can see there's champagne, mimosas. This was as we were going into one of our ports, which was Cozumel at the time. I'm going to talk a little bit more about Cozumel later, but it's probably the port we've been to the most, over a dozen times in general. But it was cool to kind of do the King of the World stuff where Leo was. You can see my children right here, my son drinking a mimosa. They do have a basketball court. Yes, that is my 15-year-old dunking on a 10-foot rim.
Rejected.
I know it looks weird, but he can do that. A ton of different shows. Like I said, they have comedians, they have Broadway singers and dancers. And some more shots of the ship here. Another thing they have that we don't take full advantage of is the different types of lounges. There are lounges everywhere. A lot of them have bars in them. Just an area to hang out, especially if you're with a group of people, which typically is not us. We generally just go with our family. Here is the casino, if that's what you like to do. My uncle, who's probably watching this, he is a patron of their casinos, so much so that they usually invite him on free cruises, which you can kind of figure that out. And my uncle, if you're listening and watching, which I bet you are, we talked about you a lot on this cruise. But it's a pretty small casino, but it has everything you would want. Throughout the ship, you're going to see tons of pictures of just beautiful art. This is that Hideaway room, by the way. I told you I was going to jump all over. The ship is beautiful, has a huge foyer or foyer, depending on how you want to do it. Tons of stairs and elevators everywhere. If you travel with me, you know we only take stairs. They have a library, another good getaway place you would want to go. You can see it here from below. And then this ship, like a lot of the newer ships, has grass and green on the top with an outdoor screen, which is fantastic during Thanksgiving and football week. We got to see a lot of the good games there. My daughter's passed out there on the top, the sunset bar. Again, more bars than you know what to do with. There are 3 different pools, 1 interior, 2 exterior. You can always hang out on the top. This is after a night of rain. We didn't get a lot of prime pictures for you guys because we were actually busy enjoying the vacation. Here's another lounge. Now, most of these lounges are open to everybody, depending on your age. The Hideway, that's where all the weird chairs are. You can see that again. But there's endless stuff to do, whether it's bingo or here's an iLounge where you can log online. You can also log online from your room. A little cellar. And they do tons of different events, as I've talked about in the past. They do have shops on the promenade where you can buy stuff, art auctions. Really, you just don't get too bored. We just like to sit by the pool and drink, although all the other stuff is cool. Now, the Reflection is their middle-sized boat. Holds about 3,000. They have some bigger, smaller boats, but they all have the same type of food options. One is a breakfast, lunch, and dinner buffet that has endless options, and they're all very good for buffet food. I mean, it's no Domino's pizza or anything, but it is a go-to option for us, usually especially for a second dinner or second lunch. But on top of the buffet, they do have specialty restaurants that you can pay extra for. And you can also go into the main dining room for breakfast, lunch, or dinner traditionally, which is a little bit fancier, and it does typically have a dress code. So again, this is just some of the last day of the breakfast buffet. Whatever breakfast food you can think of, they actually have. But we quite enjoy dressing up and going to the main dinner. It's a little higher elevated food, lobster, steak, stuff like that. Very fun. So before I show you a room tour, I wanted to do a quick synopsis on the drink packages. So you can typically get drink packages for like $100 per person per day. You have to do the math if that's worth it to you. Are you going to buy 10 drinks a day? Then it's probably worth it. But another option you see right here is you can actually pre-order bottles of liquor to your room. So 1.5, 1.75 milliliter bottles. They don't have the greatest choices. They had Bacardi for rum. So we did that for about $100. I also ordered the premium drink package because a lot of times if you keep your eye out, the same is true with their parent company, Royal Caribbean, you can get those drink packages for 50% off. In fact, while we are filming this, the week before this launches, they were doing a Black Friday sale. But I just did want to mention the drink packages. Sometimes they're worth it, sometimes they're not. Definitely something to look into. But here is a room tour for you guys of these sunset verandas.
So unlike other ships and some of the previous ones we've been on, this does not have an outer connecting door if you find connecting rooms. However, it is connecting on the inside, which we'll take a look at. So here's one room. It's a mirror image of the other room with a few exceptions that we're going to talk about. When you first enter, standard stateroom, pretty much like most celebrity ocean view or inside staterooms except the balcony, which we'll take a look at. Bathroom. Standard shower. And it is kind of the newer line. If you've been on some of the old ships, they actually have curtains. This is an enclosure, which is kind of nice. Few areas for storage and trash. So this is actually my children's bathroom. And then right here, you can have the double beds pushed together for essentially a king size or separated as a double. There is storage up on top. And then a closet with a few robes and other storage as well. Over here you have a sitting area. So this stateroom, not the connecting one, actually holds 4 people. The bottom of the couch pulls out for another double-sized bed. And then there's a pull-down bunk with the ladder for another double-sized bed above. Little sitting area where they have drinks and again some more storage, a small safe on the inside of here. You have a small TV that only has about 12 channels or so, but it includes ESPN and some news channels, which is kind of nice. Some more storage for clothes, and then a mini refrigerator that does come stocked with things that are extra cost, even if you have one of the drink packages. So we typically do not touch this. We put some of our stuff in there, which you'll see in the next room. And again, I apologize for how some of this is, simply for the fact that we've been here for half a week or so. So if you get one sunset room, essentially this divider would be all the way to the rail. 2 chairs and a table. You can have however you want. You can order room service, but nowadays they actually charge you for that. So this is the sunset. We're at the very rear of the ship. And I'll show you some footage later of it actually moving. But because we have joint rooms, we had them remove the small divider here. And you can essentially go into the room that my wife and I are staying at. And you'll see it's a mirror image with the exception of two things. One, we have beds pushed together for a king bed. And then there is no upper berth that comes down. And there is no pull down there. So essentially you can only fit 2 people in this room, possibly 3 if you had somebody sleep on there, but I don't think they even allow that with the booking. But otherwise it's the same exact layout, has the bathroom. Now here is the connecting door that does have magnets, so in case it sways in the middle of the night, has it on both sides. This is back where we started. So again, this is the sunset veranda. We are on level 6. The location is not that convenient. The buffet is 7 levels up. Sorry, just doing math because they don't have a level 13. And we are at the back of the boat. The shaking is very minimal. Of course, we've had very calm seas, so I can't really comment on that because I've been on some boats that it doesn't matter where you're located, the seas are a little more rough or vice versa. But definitely a good option. We would book this option again, despite the tough location, because again, it's at the back of the ship, and it seems like it's a little bit of a walk to go anywhere on the ship. But the views are just beautiful, and I'll show you more of those in the video later.
Now for the ports, our first port was actually Cayman Islands, which we've been to about 6 times, including very recently. Now Cayman has some fantastic shopping, but the real reason you go is because of the beaches and the water, specifically Stingray City, which we hadn't been to in 20 years. This is a sand reef in the middle of the ocean that you go and you swim with stingrays. Now it was very different this time than it was 20 years ago. They were still all over the place, and I probably have 100 photos of just that, and they would swim right by you. But 20 years ago, they would swim up on you in between your legs. While they didn't do it this time and my children were relieved, definitely a must go to in Cayman Islands. The next port was Cozumel, which like I said, we've been to about 12 times, so we didn't take a lot of pictures. But Cozumel is all about scuba diving and a few other water sports and shopping. Tons and tons of shopping to do there. We just messed around quite a bit, didn't do anything really exciting. Then our last port was a new one for us. It was actually Bimini in the Bahamas. So we'd been to Nassau before, but this was a very, very small island. It was only 6 miles long and at the most half a mile wide. The water was unbelievable though. We saw sharks and different other cool fish right there off the pier. It was incredibly clear, incredibly cool. Now there were nurse sharks, so I wasn't worried about swimming with them, but I wish we could have spent more time on the beach here. I actually could foresee myself wanting to go to this island, even though there's not a lot of resources here, just to spend time in the beach and the water. So definitely recommend going at least once to Bimini in the Bahamas. So on that note, I will leave you guys. Cruises are so fun. The food is amazing. Going to different countries is awesome. So much stuff to do on board. We like to stick with celebrity, although we are doing Royal Caribbean in a few months, and we already have a celebrity booked for next year as well. Let me know in the comments below what your favorite cruise line is, because that comment could win you a statue.
As we try to grow this channel, we like to reward you guys for watching and subscribing. So because of that, every 5,000 milestone when it comes to subscribers, we give away a couple $1,000s worth of statues. We've actually given away over 20 statues. To win one is easy. First, you gotta be subscribed to the channel. You'll get bell notifications when videos drop. Each video that drops, you wanna make a comment on those videos. We pick a random video, we give away statues based on a comment. You can say whatever you want. The more videos you comment on, the higher your chances are to win.
Hey, thank you so much for watching. If you're new here, most of the content is about collectibles. However, I travel about 45 weeks a year, and about 10 times a year we do a video on a vacation like this. So if you liked it, please give me a thumbs up and please sub to the channel for future content. Otherwise, check out some of these other videos. I do appreciate you watching. Take care.